welcome to Dreaming of Chess Mastery. I'm Neil Priest, and this is my YouTube channel which delves into the world of adult chess improvement. Over the last few weeks, I have been filming a series of book reviews and books that meet an important criteria. They're ones that I believe are worthy of a deep dive. Books that you will spend weeks, months mulling over, soaking up the content, thinking about it, asking questions, and if you do that, I believe they will substantially improve any adult chess improver's playing strength. This week I want to continue with a series of game collections, and it's a series which has proved, certainly in certain circles, to be perhaps a little controversial or divide opinions. I'm, of course, talking about Garry Kasparov's seminal 5-volume series, My Great Predecessors. Lovely books, hardcover, beautifully finished, and they take you through the history of the world champions, starting from Steinitz and working all the way up to his immediate predecessor, Anatoly Karpov. And it's not just the games of the world champions. He also puts them into historical context, features games by the strong challengers in each of the given epochs. And it is a terrific, I think, a terrific collection, a lifetime's work. Now, I said they are a little, divisive. I'm struggling for words. Controversial? No, I think everyone recognizes that they are astonishingly deep books, very, very detailed chess analysis, game analysis. But the point that has created the difference of opinion, let's call it that, is that quite obviously Kasparov didn't just analyze these games. He benefited from extensive work with chess engines. And in certain circles, this becomes, a point of criticism. I'm a member of the Chess Dojo, and they have a terrific series of videos going along with their platform on YouTube, videos on YouTube, and one of the key figures, Grandmaster Jesse Cry, is definitely someone who is, he would call himself old school. He's not a fan of engine analysis, computer moves. And he sees this as a point that detracts from the value of the books. The books would be better if there were more mistakes in them, because the mistakes would be human mistakes. You would get an insight into how a real human thinks, and that would be better, because you can't possibly think like a computer engine. But this, I think, is it's a dubious point. Just for starters, no, I can't think like a chess engine, but I'm not going to think like Garry Kasparov. Never in a million years. It's not going to happen. So why do I believe that insight into how he thinks would benefit me any more than insight into what a computer has unearthed. And I think this brings me on to the first point that I really, really do enjoy about these books, is that there's not a shortage of words. They're not just long strings of game analysis produced by a chess engine. Kasparov gives his opinion on the games. He creates a narrative, and he creates a sort of conversation with the analysis that predated his work. And this in itself is fascinating. I think the second point that I've always felt, people say, well, who realistically is going to sift through pages and pages of variations? Well, perhaps you're not. And that's okay. You don't have to play through every single line that he's given. You can use his analysis to answer your questions and then move on. Now, the point of this video series has been to highlight books that I think would have an enormous impact on your playing strength, on my playing strength. And I definitely think these books fit the bill. And books that will require a deep dive. And frankly, if you're going to work through this whole series, if you take them in their entirety, the 5 volumes, there's approximately 450 games. 450 games. A game a day, and you're looking at a year and 4 months of chess study. A game a day. And you, as I've stressed with some of the other games collection videos, you're not going to just whiz through these. These are tough games, and they're going to be thought-provoking. You're going to have questions that need answering. Who knows, you might even want to turn on an engine to check some of your ideas. Or at the very least, if you have a coach, you'll need to take your questions to them, because you will have questions. Actually, there's another way, and I've spoken about this before, there is another way that you can engage with this material, because many of these games are available for you on the website playgrandmasters.com, which is a chess solitaire website. You can pick a game and then sit on by the side of the winner and try and guess their moves. And the site gives you the option of 30 minutes, an hour, or 2 hours, so you're up against the clock. And it rates your performance at the end, so there's a little bit of gamification. And it seems to me a very, very nice way of play through the game so that you really do think of it without any written commentary. And then when you've played through the game, have a look at what Kasparov has to say. And obviously, if you're going to set the clock even at half an hour and then spend half an hour playing through the game, annotations in My Great Predecessors, well, that's an hour per game. And I have no doubt that if you do that, it will be a phenomenal way of training seriously. Now, this series is not, well, it's written with a general audience in mind up to a point. the annotations aren't. The stories behind the games, the context that he gives, the basic analysis, I think it's very clear. I think a typical club player will be able to get a tremendous amount out of the games. But obviously, the stronger you are, the more you're going to pick up from the choices that he's made, Kasparov gives, what he chooses to emphasize. And these are books that a club player could read, but a grandmaster could study. They really are for everybody. Well, everybody from a certain point. Perhaps you're below 1600 FIDE, something like that. Maybe there's much better options for you, perhaps even stronger. But definitely a series worth seriously digging into. And I think if you're going to take on board this journey of chess improvement, a big part of it is coming to grips with the rich history of the game. And these 5 volumes, I mean, I've read all 5. I haven't played through more than a fraction of the games in that kind of deep, serious, analytical sort of way. But I've read all the books, and they are very readable and certainly enlightening, and it's interesting to hear what Kasparov has to say. At the end of each of the sections, he has a series of quotes by other players on the world champions, and I think you'll come out of the books with a much deeper knowledge of chess history. And if you do, study them. And I think if you give Playground Masters a go, if you tackle the games first as a sort of puzzle, I think there's a lifetime's worth of learning between the covers of the 5 books. So, My Great Predecessors. I'm going to humbly disagree with Grandmaster Jesse Pry. I think these are books that should be on every player's bookshelf. I think they're books that eventually you need to engage with. That said, they should be on every player's bookshelf. Well, lots of books should be on every player's bookshelf. So perhaps they're not the first ones that you make the investment. But let's say they should be on everybody's wish list. So there we are. That's it for this week. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, I'd love to hear your opinions. What you think of computer-driven analysis. And otherwise, I trust you're having a wonderful time with your chess. And until the next video, which I think will be the last in this series, ciao.